one pack. No, not one pack.
What's the limit?
At the moment, it's one.
Alright, guys, I need everyone to back off right now.
Stop.
No.
It's fine. It's fine. Alright, so where do we begin? Alright, let's do it like this. So the coronavirus. I am by no means a health expert, but as you know, as most of you know from the information that we're getting, whether it be through the media, through a health organization, through the National Health Service, you guys know that it's pretty effed up. So it's affecting a lot of things, travel, work, so many other things. But I don't want to sort of go into that. I want to speak more about where we're at in terms of sports, and how it's affecting sports all around, really. So interestingly enough, when you look at countries like Italy, they've taken serious steps towards this by way of lockdown and by way of just stopping all Serie A games. So all Serie A games are postponed until a later date. And in other countries, they're doing the same thing. Other countries are not postponing games, they're letting games go on. However, they are banning the public from attending these games. So there will be no fans in the stands. But we'll get to that in a second. The first thing I want to touch on is the UFC. The UFC, Uncle Dana White has put out a video, and he's gone ahead and he's confirmed that the future UFC fights that will be taking place at the UFC Apex Center. So what that means is there will be no audience there. It will be broadcasted as usual. I'll play the video. Hopefully I don't get a copyright strike for that, but I'll play the video.
Some of the events will be moved from their original host city to the UFC Apex here in Las Vegas, and unfortunately, fans may not be allowed to attend the events. You know I hate this, but the decision has been made in the best interest of everyone involved with our events, including fans, athletes, staff, and media partners. The events are still going to be broadcast live on ESPN, the network, and on ESPN Plus here in the United States, and on media partners worldwide, including Cambache in Brazil and UFC Fight Pass. So,
and basically, in essence, the fights will still go on, because people still need to work, and there will be no attendance. All tickets that have been purchased for any UFC events will be refunded. You can still watch it via UFC Fight Pass, if those of you that have UFC Fight Pass, or you can watch it via other streaming services, legal streaming services. I know who you are. It's only legal streaming services. Yeah, I know who you are. All right, cool. But yeah, interesting to see really that Dana White has taken this approach, which I love, because Dana White comes off as this guy who's all about money. And I think part of the problem with the coronavirus is capitalism. I think flights should have been stopped earlier on, and I think it's shocking, but schools are still going on. So kids are still going to school. Can you imagine that? That's so crazy, man. They're telling us not to go to the gym because of the coronavirus, but then they're letting kids go to school. This is where we're at. So some schools in Norway, in most of Scandinavia, they've shut down schools, they've shut down public centers. In the UK, kids are still going to school. Like, I kid you not, like, kids are still going to school, and it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. The British government is really good at telling people to calm down, but I think people should take steps. So I think you should don't wait for your government to tell you what to do. Oh my God, this is turning into politics, isn't it? Don't wait for your government to tell you what to do. Take some initiative, man. Just take some initiative. Use your cabeza, and you don't have to wait for your government to tell you, stay indoors. Like, don't sit there waiting for people to tell you to do stuff, right? Let's get back to it. So the UFC, President Dana White has addressed that. You've seen the video, and I think that's really cool. I think that's really, really good. And I also think that it's one of those things where I want Khabib and Tony Ferguson to still happen. So the Khabib Tony Ferguson, I don't want that to stop, and I don't want it to stop because of this. It has stopped so many times. That fight has never happened, and I'm tired of it. And I don't even want the coronavirus to stop that fight from happening. Khabib and Tony Ferguson needs to happen. Okay, moving on. Wei Lee actually talks about how she was told to come in a couple of weeks earlier because of the virus. So due to the virus, the UFC told Wei Lee it's not safe for you to stay in China anymore. You have to come down to the States. So kudos to the UFC for that. I give the UFC a lot of stick sometimes, but kudos to, looking out for your fighter. So Wei Lee came to the US early enough. She did all her tests and everything. She was found clear. Her whole camp, her whole crew, everyone was found clear, and she was able to fight in that fight with Joanna. I'm not going to put up a picture of Joanna's face because you've all seen Joanna's face. But yeah, that was pretty sick of the UFC to get one of their fighters to come in early to the US where they could monitor her a little bit better ahead of the fight. Moving on to football. Now, with football, Italy has suspended football. Serie A has been suspended. My question is, and I'm not a doctor or a health expert. Coffee. My question is, when you play behind closed doors, that's fine because there's a duty of care when there are people in the stadium. But the thing that I don't understand is shaking hands. So when players don't shake hands, that I don't understand, and I'll tell you my logic behind it. I don't understand why players don't shake hands, because when you're on the pitch, you're touching the same ball, you're kicking the same ball, you're grabbing each other, you're touching each other. It's like there's full contact on the football pitch, on the field. There's full contact. You're not avoiding full contact. So it's an aerial virus, right? You can inhale it, and you can also get it from touching surfaces. Disclaimer, I am not a doctor. I swear to God, if one of you tells me I'm a doctor, I'm not a doctor. But yeah, this is basically how you get the virus, right? So touching surfaces and coughing, sneezing. So that's aerial, right? So that's aerial. That's inhaling. That's aerial, right? Are you telling me that when this guy's on the pitch for 90 minutes, as long as they haven't shook each other's hands, there's no way that any of them can get the virus? Are you serious, man? What's the logic behind not shaking hands? Like, I don't get it. You're not shaking hands, but you're going to spend 90 minutes on the pitch just sweating on each other, just breathing on each other. Virgil grabbing people, putting them to the ground. The goalkeeper getting blasted in the face with the same ball that, the guy was throwing in at the throw-in line. Like, I don't get it. Someone tell me what the logic behind not shaking hands is when you spend 90 minutes on the pitch with someone and you can just get it just as easily. I don't know. I don't get it. Someone needs to explain it to me. Mikel Arteta has got the virus. It doesn't mean he's going to die, people. Mikel Arteta is not going to die. Touch wood, right? It means he's got the virus. So, Olympiacos, the owner of the club of... man, am I saying that right? Olympiacos? The owner of the club had the virus and he shook a couple players' hands. So because of that, the players were told to stay home, quarantine process, 14 days. So it goes back to my point. What does shaking hands actually stop from happening? You know what I mean? Like, what does it stop from happening? Like, I don't know. Somebody tell me. Somebody that's in the health industry tell me, because I need to know. Arteta has got the virus, so I'm assuming that the Arsenal, not just the team, but the whole football club is going to be on lockdown because it's got the virus, and that's how the virus spreads. Like, you get the gist, basically, right? You get the idea. Also, aside from football, so a couple of games have been suspended. Some games are still going on, but without people in the stands and without handshaking, which is weird because because if Mikel Arteta had that coronavirus and went up to the fourth official and spoke to the fourth official, there's a good chance that the fourth official has that virus. And if the fourth official spoke to the referee, there's a good chance that the referee has that virus. And if the referee spoke, it's like, come on, you know what I mean? But hope Arteta gets better. Another Chelsea player's got it. A couple of other players have got it as well. I just hope everyone. I hope we get through this. Like, I hope we get over this chapter. You know. What else? NBA. The NBA has suspended the season for the NBA has suspended games for the rest of the season. So for the rest of the season, there's not going to be any NBA. I don't really watch basketball. I started watching basketball after Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson was the last person that I saw playing basketball. Like, actually watching a real basketball game. The last game that I saw was Allen Iverson. But yeah, they're suspending the NBA for the rest of the season. So when I walked into my gym yesterday, they had put up all these new tissue stands, you know, the tissue on the wall where you can grab it, you can pull it down. They put up all this liquid sanitary gel and all that, and I felt like it was a little bit too little too late. I must have tweeted about this like earlier on last month. I'm pretty sure I did this earlier on last month, where I asked the gym to increase the amount of gel that they have, but not only the gel, but also what should be available to regular users. So tissue, I shouldn't have to go to the bathroom to grab the tissue to then come out of the bathroom and clean the machine with. Do you know what I mean? These are standard amenities that should be in the gym. But anyway, my Pure Gym has now increased the amount of gel, hand sanitizer that they have, and they've put a couple of tissues here and there. And I see the cleaning lady more. So whereas I would see them once a day in the evening, I see them now a lot more often. So the thing that bugs me about this is, again, these cleaning people don't wear masks. And I'm thinking to myself, this is a bit kind of crazy, because we all know it's a flipping aerial, like you can catch it from breathing, right? So it's not just contact on surfaces, but you can also catch it through breathing. And it bugs me out a little bit, because here you have these cleaners that come in and they clean, and they're not wearing any masks, and I feel kind of bad for them, because most of them are my aunties and my uncles, and I'm not like, come on, like someone to give them a mask. Yeah, you shouldn't be in danger because you're not well equipped. Do you know what I mean? Like, hand sanitizer is a good way to go. Again, I'm not a doctor. I swear to God, do not tell me I'm a doctor. I'm not a doctor, right? But hand sanitizer is a good way to go anyway. But what are you doing about the respiratory factor of it? So the respiratory side of it needs to be covered as well. I feel like the cleaner should be given something, not just gloves. I feel like the cleaner should be given masks, right? We've got a couple of emails that came in from the gym. It's nice of the gym to send me emails. So here we go. I'll put these up. Coffee, man. So, Pure Gym. What is Pure Gym doing? First, in the line of guidance with the authorities, we have increased the frequency of cleaning and the focus on hygiene management in our gyms. I've done a video about how there are a lot of things at the gyms that irritate me. One of them is people's body odor. Like, bruh, if you smell that bad when you walk in, go home, just do what you have to do, and then come back in the gym. You should not make people suffer because of the way you stink, right? I've done a video about this. I'll put it up somewhere. But right, so this is what the email says. Specifically, we have increased the frequency of cleaning high-touch areas such as pin pads, doors, door handles, and lockers, etc. I'm going to be a critique and say that high-touch areas are all areas. In the gym, high-touch areas are all areas. Not just the pins, the pads, door handles, lockers, but the equipment. You can imagine during rush hour how many people are touching the dumbbells. You can imagine during rush hour, not even during rush hour, during, you know, less busy times, you can imagine how many people, I've seen this so many times. I go into the cycling machine and there's sweat all over the cycling machine. It's like, who does that? You know what I mean? So the kettlebells, the dumbbells, the machines, the deadlifts, the curl bars, all of them things. It's like those are all high touch areas. So my critique to this would be, I hope they're not making it exclusive. To just, everything needs to be clean. That's the risk that you're taking, right? Everything needs to be clean. Right. Redoubled efforts to ensure that soap dispensers remain filled in all changing rooms and toilet facilities. Okay, cool. I appreciate that, but that's something you should have been doing ages ago, right? I shouldn't have to ask you to refill. You should have somebody that checks the refill. So when you're redoubling your efforts, it's kind of like, anyway, maybe I'm being harsh, but anyway, let's go on to the next one. Increase the number of hand sanitizer. That's what I was referring to. They've increased the number of hand sanitizer and ensured they are refilled frequently. These are typically located near the entrance exit pods to the gym. POD? Places of, I don't know what that means. But yeah, I mean, this is something that should be done anyway. This is something that should be done when you're in an area that has a lot of contact. In an area where in an area that has a lot of people coming in and out. You should be doing this anyway. You shouldn't wait for a virus to happen so that you can increase. In my gym, there are two. Prior to the coronavirus, there were only two hand sanitizers in the whole freaking gym. Imagine that. The whole gym, just two of them, two hand sanitizers. How ludicrous is that? Do you know what I mean? So I'm not giving you props for that. You should have been doing that ages ago. Introducing new cleaning stations in all gyms to allow members to self-clean equipment before and after use. Again, I'm not being difficult, but that should have been there ages ago. So you shouldn't wait for the virus to happen for you to do that. Introducing new cleaning stations. In my gym, there were no cleaning stations. So I don't know if this applies to other gyms, but in my gyms, there were no cleaning stations, right? So this here is a generic email, I understand. And, it does what generic emails do. Continued to remind members of the importance of good hygiene in the gym. Very interesting. And I guess you have to do your part. But it comes down to the individual a lot of times. And a lot of times, individuals are generally unhygienic. So even a reminder, which is greatly appreciated, whilst it is a formality, it's down to the individual to then say, hey, you know what? I need to change the way I do things. There was a towel, I swear to God, I should have done a video about this, but there was a brown towel in my gym that was sitting there for 3 days. I went to the gym Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It was there for all of those 3 days. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The towel was there in the exact same spot. I went in the gym on the Monday, and someone had put it on top of the bin. So not in the bin, but on top of the bin. And that has nothing to do with the gym and the gym's hygienics, but it has to do with individual effort. Like, as an individual, don't expect people to clean up after you, man. You know what I mean? Like, alright, let's do it. Our members are taking extra care to increase personal hygiene, which has meant demand for hand sanitizer gel and cleaning materials has increased significantly. We will continue to do everything we can to keep the gyms well stocked of these items. Thank you very much for that. It's greatly appreciated. The debate as to whether or not the gym should close, I think, is a good one to have, because gyms are high-risk areas. I'm not a doctor. Swear to God, do not tell me I'm a doctor. Gyms are high-risk areas because of the amount of... It's a confined space where you're genuinely, sweating, breathing, touching. It's such a high risk. Even like when you go to the water fountain, when you're going to get a sip of the water, you put your thumb onto the fountain. So imagine the person that was there before you. Anyway, should we close gyms? I don't know. They're doing it in Scandinavia. They're closing up gyms in Scandinavia. Should the UK do it? I don't know. Is there an element of, if you close down businesses, it's bad for business? 100%. 100%. If you close down businesses, it is. If you close down the gyms, what about the people that work at the gym? Do you know what I mean? Like, what do they do in terms of finances? I don't care so much as gyms as sort of a corporation, but I care so much about the people that work there and the people that go there. But let's have a look. As a member, how can you help? As a Pure Gym member, you can do your bit to reduce the spread of the virus through good personal hygiene. I'm not wearing my glasses, you'll have to excuse me. So this is just basically what we were talking about. So it's an individual effort. Like, you're a grown ass man, right? If somebody in your house didn't teach you to take showers, I don't know where you grew up, bro. I don't know where you grew up. So it's personal hygiene, man. But you see this all the time in gyms. Just guys, they just stink of BO. You know, like people doing weird stuff in the gym, man. Especially in the shower. I've seen people spit in the showers. It's like, you know. And then the poor guys that have to clean the fucking shower after you. It's like, come on, man, grow up. Anyway, this includes frequent hand washing. Wash your hands for 20 seconds and hand sanitize during visits. Now, if these guys have to teach you how to wash your hands, there is something really, really flipping wrong with you. If you're a grown-ass man and Pure Gym have to teach you how to wash your hands, there is something wrong with you. And I pray to the Almighty that one day that gets fixed, right? Wash your damn hands. Make full use of soap, sanitizers, and cleaning items available. Okay, cool. Covering your covering your mouth and nose with a tissue when coughing or sneezing, and dispose of the tissue in the bin after use. Now, I have seen tissues lying around at the gym because people use them and then just don't throw them away. Again, it's an individual effort. You have to do your part. Covering your mouth and your nose, that's a given. But again, some of you, I don't know where you grew up. I don't know how you grew up. I don't know what backwards part of the bush you come from. And I come from the bush, but you probably come from a backwards side of the bush. So it's funny because there was a flight. That got suspended mid-air, so they had to return the flight because there was a fight on the flight because someone had sneezed on someone, and that kicked off. I'll try and find the link or the picture and I'll put it up. But just cover your mouth, man. Like, you know, like when you get on the bus or when you get on the train, you see all these people talking on the phone. Like, is it necessary? Like, first off, I don't want to hear the conversation you're having with your baby father. And second of all, this is a given, guys. This is genuinely a given. Like, some of you just don't have manners. Familiarize yourself with the latest government guidance and do not visit the gym if you are displaying symptoms of COVID-19 and are advised to self-isolate. I'll put up what the government says about COVID-19. I'll put that up. That way you guys have a little bit of an idea as to what's happening. Actually, no. We'll put up what the NHS says. I'll find it. Onto something a little bit more comical. People are fighting over tissue. So that's funny to me because why are you fighting over tissue when you can? This is another. You remember when we talked about, you know, personal hygiene and how you need to take responsibility. I hope a lot of you aren't just wiping your asses with tissue and not taking a shower. Because bruh. Take a damn shower, right? This whole tissue thing is like, yeah, we get it, but could you take a shower and clean your ass? Like, I feel like most of these things are things that someone in your family should have taught you about. But anyway, let's on the more comical side of things, people are beating each other up over tissue. Like, fighting over tissue. There are stampedes over tissue. Tissue companies right now, I should have invested in a tissue company. I don't care what tissue company it is. I should have invested. I should have expanded the portfolio. I should have contacted my mans and been like, yo, can we buy some shares in a tissue company? Oh, the world is so funny. So anyway, tissues, could you not fight over tissues, please? Could you take showers, wipe your asses and shit like that?
Hey, Bob, that's enough! Are you joking? Are you looking at me fucking joking?
She hit me! I didn't touch you! I took the bag! You came and hit me! You touched your bag! I took the bag! You fucking came and hit me!
Excuse me? Stop.
Go away from my daughter!
Stop. Please.
I just want one pack. No, not one bag.
What's the limit?
It's 5 minutes.
Alright, guys, I need everyone to back off right now.
Stop.
No.
Yes.
Hold on.
Take it away from there.
Stop. You need to get off this trolley now. You need to get off this trolley now.
Look what you're doing. Why you have tissues? Think about what you're doing, yeah? You need to
Adrian.
stop, right? There's a limit
Adrian.
and there's people, yeah? It's unfair. You need to stop.
Call the police.
I'm calling the
Please. Please. Okay? We can't find it in the right. It's not fair.
Lastly, I was watching The Breakfast Club, which is a show in the States, which I find entertaining. And they were talking about how black people cannot catch the coronavirus. I am here to flipping tell you that is 100% bollocks. Black people can catch the coronavirus. The coronavirus is live and well in South Africa. I'll put up a clip of what's happening in South Africa. People have died in South Africa because of the coronavirus. So don't go around telling people that you can't catch it because you're black, right? That's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Countries are working hard to strengthen their plans, or countries are working hard to strengthen their plans with the aim of ensuring that they manage the spread of the virus. To date, the new cases involve one male in KwaZulu-Natal who lives in Turkey but was visiting his family in South Africa. The one case in Mpumalanga is of a 27-year-old female who had traveled to the United States of America.
In Gauteng, a 43-year-old male who had traveled to New York via Dubai and returned to South Africa in the Free State. A 32-year-old male got in contact with a Chinese businessman. This is the first case of local transmission, as all cases of patients have traveled abroad.
At the moment, the health department says all patients are in self-quarantine and have mild symptoms. The health department team will brief the media later today.
How to avoid catching or spreading the coronavirus. This is from the NHS, National Health Service. The National Health Service is the go-to for a lot of people when it comes down to things like these. To be quite honest, I don't wait for the government to tell me when to use hand sanitizer and when not to use it. I don't wait for the government to tell me when to wipe my ass with tissue and when to take a shower. I don't wait for those kind of things. I already have these habits. So it's probably why I find this funny, is because I grew up with these habits. And the fact that people have to reiterate these it's just kind of like, listen, did you grow up in a jungle? Like, and I grew up in a jungle and I have these habits. So the do's: wash your hands with soap and water often. Do this for 20 seconds. Who the hell said that 20 seconds was the go-to amount of time? I don't know. Always wash your hands when you get home or into work. That's a given. Again, I think that's a given. Use hand sanitizer gel if soap and water are not available. Yeah, I can see that. I can see how that makes sense. Cover your mouth and nose with a tissue or your sleeve. If in brackets, not your hands when you cough or sneeze. We've been through this. I've seen it on trains a lot. People coughing and sneezing. It's just disgusting, man. I've seen people cough without covering their mouths, and then acting like there's nothing wrong with that. And it's just like, you're a grown man. Like, you should know there's something wrong with that. Put used tissues in the bin immediately and wash your hands afterwards. Yeah, these are all things that are common sense, but you'd be surprised. Try to avoid close contact with people who are unwell. That's tricky because the virus takes a while to kick in. So you can go 7 days, you can go a whole week without any symptoms. Is it 12 days? I don't know. Put it in the comment section. I think you can go 12 days without any symptoms, and then boom, you got them. So that's one of them. Do not touch your eyes, nose, or mouth if your hands are not clean. have a habit of touching my face a lot. So there you go. Nobody's perfect. Treatment for the coronavirus. Now this is very important. So treatment for the coronavirus. There is no specific treatment for the coronavirus. That's the scary bit. Antibiotics do not help, as they do not work against the viruses. So do not drown yourself in a bunch of paracetamol, Panadol, and all that other good stuff. Treatment aims to relieve the symptoms while your body fights the illness. So if I've understood, if I was paying attention in class, your body has a way of naturally healing itself, but you need to give your body the time to naturally heal itself. You need to stay in isolation, away from other people, until you have recovered. That's a very important fact. A lot of people are dedicated to their work, and they feel like, no, they have to go into work. Guys, there are things in life that are a little bit... There are things in life that are more important than money, than capitalism. If you've got symptoms, stay the fuck at home, man. Don't nobody want to catch that, right? Talk to your boss, talk to someone. Just chill out. Just chill out. Just stay at home, make YouTube videos like me, right? The scary thing is that there is no specific treatment as of yet. So I think one person openly spoke about how he had it and then now he doesn't have it. So interesting to see what his treatment was. But yeah, everyone just stay safe out there. Please don't fight over tissue. Please don't fight over sanitation gel. Take a fucking shower, you know, wash yourself. Come on, these are things that are self-explanatory. But anyway, that's it for me. I'm out.